Draymond defending Boogie. Talk to me.
Well, look, Draymond's being a good teammate there. Boogie Cousins' defense has not been good. Cousins is not a very athletic player, never was, and now he's coming off injury, which is why I was doubtful that he would really help the team. But he has, at times, especially early on, his shooting and passing, which has always been top-notch at the position, is still there. He has a good basketball brain, but he was never like a terrific athlete. And at this point, you know, he was doing it with his head and his skills. And at this point, coming off the injury, he's a little lesser than he was, and he's not a perfect fit with the team. What Boogie allows him to do is play 5 out again because Draymond can't shoot. You know, having Draymond play the 5 now doesn't let you play 5 out so well anymore because he really can't shoot anymore, or hasn't recently. Boogie lets you do that again. And so there are things you could do with him. But defensively, he hasn't been good, Stephen A. And offensively, he's also slowed things down in a way for them that hasn't always been good. It's understandable. He's just getting his feet wet still, really, and had very good returns early. I think maybe we got a little too excited. And here I think Draymond is not fully telling the truth, but I think it's because he's just being a good teammate to Boogie.
Well, listen, you could talk about being a good teammate to Boogie, but I would tell you, I was on the phone with Draymond Green last night. He and I spoke, and because I wanted to get his perspective on the comments that y'all just showed. And Draymond was dead serious about it. He said, look, man, I'm not going to be in the business. He said, I'm the first to hold cats accountable. You know me. You know my personality. He said, but that ain't fair to him. He said, our defense, all of us were lackluster. He said, all of us have been lackluster. We haven't been playing defense to the level that we're capable of because we haven't been putting in the work defensively the way we customarily do. And that's just a fact. And so if we're not doing that, how can we judge what he brings to the table when we're not doing what we're supposed to do? And that just leaves everybody exposed. That's a good point. Now, we can look at Boogie Cousins, and we can talk about his absence of lateral movement. He doesn't have much of it. We can point out how Brad Stevens repeatedly attacked him. All of those things are accurate. We can point to how without him on the floor, but the other 4 guys on the floor with anybody, they're a +4. But with Boogie Cousins on the floor, with Steph, Clay, Draymond, and KD, they're a -3. So that's like a 15-point differential. You can't escape that. But Draymond was like, trust me when I tell you, it's bad in terms of our effort. Our effort defensively is inexcusable. Coach Kerr was absolutely right when he talked about us in that regard, and we got to make sure that we make amends for that. So he wanted to make it perfectly clear that Boogie Cousins should not be a target in that regard, and I can respect where you're coming from if you're willing to call yourself and your teammates out for what you're not doing. I got to give Draymond props for that.
That's fair. To pin their whole defensive problems on Boogie is not fair. So that's fair what Draymond said. I think part of it is that people project ahead to the playoffs and think of how they match up with teams like, for example, Oklahoma City. And you can, it's not hard to imagine how they could exploit Boogie. And so maybe he's getting too much blame in the present. I'm with Draymond on that.